Welcome to the Retrofit Podcast, brought to you by Electric Ireland Superhomes. Electric Ireland Superhomes is the leading one-stop shop for all your home energy retrofit needs. Do everything from the initial consultation to the retrofit, to implementation, to the design, to looking after the grants. We've got a very special episode today, I have to say. We're talking about everything to do with solar PVs. So if that's something that you're interested in, this is the episode for you. We've got a great panel of experts to go through that with us. We've got Shea, who is from NRG Panel, who implement solar panels. We've got Cori Calvert from Electric Ireland Superhomes. Cori has over 20 years experience. We've also got Hugh Wallace, the acclaimed architect, who will tell us all about his solar panels. And we've got Odran Casey, who works for Electric Ireland. So without further ado, let's talk about everything to do with solar PV. First, Cori, for anybody who's coming to this first, they're looking about, they're interested in solar PV, but this is all about incorporating it into, a retrofit in your home. So maybe you could just tell us first, Electric Ireland Superhomes obviously are the experts in home retrofits. What is that?
Yeah, so a retrofit is the method to get you to a warmer home that incorporates both wall insulation as well as attic insulation, your windows, everything needed to keep that heat inside so that your heating system, such as a heat pump, can provide your house with warm, comfortable environment for you to live. Solar panels are an amazing way to offset the electricity usage of that heat pump to reduce your energy bills.
Okay, so Sean, I suppose the first question everybody wants to know if they're listening to this is solar PVs, like what are they? What's the benefit of it?
Yeah, historically in Ireland, solar panels are known as the water panel, thermal panels where you generate your water supply. I suppose what has advanced, thankfully, is the development of electrical transfer. So you're developing your own supply of electricity in real time to provide output away from ESB cables, essentially, and to provide more greener, sustainable power.
Okay, so I suppose the first question I could throw it out to everyone is actually I'll ask you first, is it the cost of it? I suppose that's the first thing that people want to know.
Yeah, so cost of solar ranges anywhere from 6,000 upwards, depending on how many panels you need, how many you want, whether you include a battery in the house to store excess electricity. That's the cost. Solar panels are going to add value to your home. They're going to reduce your energy bills by consuming that electricity that's being generated in real time, so that you're not buying from the grid. But also, if you're generating more than you need in the house, it flows onto the national grid. Your smart electricity meter will measure that, and Electric Ireland will pay you for that excess electricity that's spilled onto the grid.
And just to add into that, I think what's very important in price range, when you talk about price, it's not a set price, it's individual per who you speak to, because I suppose with remote working now, with people that work in offices, with people that aren't at home, or indeed are at home, it's all specific to that house needs. Like Hugh will know through architectural works that two houses could be side by side that look the same, but their electrical usage could be completely different. So it's individualizing it for that person, make it easy for them.
Have you noticed that, Hugh?
Well, I think that the first thing to say is that solar panels have just come on leaps and bounds, so that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it's all a bit of a myth for people out there. Mm-hmm. So you look at a house and it's all covered in solar panels. But what I'd like to know is the amount of solar panels I need, the size of the 5 of us, is that's what needed, or is it 20 times that size? So there's those sort of things that seem to confuse everything, because obviously the size determines the cost, but in fact there's a relationship with use and the size you require.
Absolutely,
and that's where you come in.
Yeah.
That's really where you come in, because you're going to help us or the customer to get the right size of panels.
And that's exactly right. When you're talking about a retrofit, even something with solar, you are talking about a lot of components. You have your contractor, you have your energy engineers who are designing your project, you have your solar partner, such as NRG, who are there to be the experts in solar. And so what that one-stop shop does is compile all of those people into one easy-to-access resource for the client, as well as bring those SEI grants. And that's very important to offset the cost of the retrofit.
But part of the one-stop shop is to deliver an entire package.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Yeah, exactly. Just make it as easy as possible so that you can have that warmer, cleaner home, your end goal.
So is that a big thing now? So I mean, we're talking about this as part of your retrofit. Are more and more people asking for that now, for solar PV as part of their retrofit?
Yeah, more and more people, they just want to know where to start. And that is exactly what we're there to do, is that when you come to us, we lay out all of your options so that you can make the best informed decision based upon all those areas of expertise that we're able to pull together. So yeah, solar is something that many people are choosing to do because it does make sense.
And so the government, they reduced am I right in saying that? The VAT is now down to 0 this year.
Yep, it's 0% VAT as of the 1st of May. They've also recently announced this week the payments that you receive for excess electricity spilled, that's been increased from €200 to €400, the tax-free allowance for that. So it's another benefit.
That's part of the budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what would they, like, is there an average figure? So if you're selling it back to the grid, what, I know.
Yeah, it's very individual. Like Sean was saying, if somebody is working from home, for example, might put on the dinner earlier in the day, they're using that excess electricity. Whereas somebody that's maybe out and about during the day, you'll export more. We have customers that are getting paid €450 a year for the excess electricity. Customers who optimize their use will get paid a lot less, but they're getting the benefit of using that solar electricity.
Yeah, and I think that's the main point. I think that's the idea. So Cori mentioned that it's more of an advancement now of people looking to do it, but I think what Odran's saying there is that when you are using in real time, that's the benefit. The benefit there, obviously the enhancement of microgeneration allows more of a financial gain, which allows greener energy going back into our network, which allows that to be sustainable. And euros wise, of course, beneficial, but it's about real time. If you can and when you can use, we talk about everyday life, washing machine, dishwasher, tumble dryers, if you can, when you can, use them.
And one thing we see from our customers that have had solar installed, with our solar panels that are installed, you get an app which shows real time what your panels on your roof are generating. People become, I suppose, fixated. I was going to say obsessed.
Oh my God.
It's up there with Instagram in your usage. So yeah.
Hello. Put on the washing machine. Put on the washing machine.
People are doing that, Hugh. It's they're when they see the clouds passing, they'll put on the dishwasher. That's where it's at. People become a lot more engaged with their electricity use once they have solar, for sure.
And I think that the important part of solar is, and as well as a nicely heated home, is that right now when you come home, the top thoughts you have in the winter are, am I walking into a cold home? Yeah. What can I run the tumble dryer tonight? And then when you do things like retrofitting your home and installing that heat pump, all of a sudden you have a nice warm home without you even thinking about it, that has zones so that house is heated according to your house's usage. And the same with solar, is that you're no longer worrying about turning on that tumble dryer.
Can I just ask, sorry, a couple of things to go. Can I have solar panels if I have no south-facing roof?
Yes, yeah. So obviously the orientation is very important, and south is obviously the optimum. But yes, you can. So I suppose what the wording that we would use that in NRG would be all around the split system. So it's the opportunity that obviously our sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so you can orientate, if you were 10 panels as an example, and you check the angles through our engineering team and myself and the team, you find out, okay, that's a good enough 180 degrees straight down the middle of the ridge tile. You can go a 5 and 5 split, you can go a 6 and 6, whatever number is associated to your usage.
So it is possible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, that's
sure.
right, because a lot
Yeah.
of people think, oh, I have to find a south-facing
for
roof.
sure, Hugh. Yeah, and that's where I think you mentioned it earlier about the need of understanding the house, of what people do use or not. And we look at bills, for an example, Fergal, and we all look at our euros and we all look at what we're paying. But in my world, in Odran's world, in our world, it's kilowatts. To me, it's kilowatts. To me, it's about the kilowatts that are used in a house. And then if it is east-west, okay, what do 10 panels do to offset that?
Just on that, is there an average number of panels? I know it depends on the house, but or the size of the house, is that an issue as well?
Yeah.
Size of the roof.
It's all important, yeah. It's all important. So I suppose there is a natural average of a household. I'll know through his research, but, in and around 4,000 kilowatts is probably a natural average for a household. But in saying that, the bigger picture is what's the main thing. I suppose putting panels on your roof is the solution. It's about how you use the panels when they're on your roof is probably the answer, if that makes sense. Because to reiterate that, there wouldn't be a natural average, but you can put any number of panels from 6 up to 18 on your home. There's a maximum capacity you can reach through single-phase homes in Ireland, but then it's about the blend of that. So maybe 10 to 12 might be your natural average of that go on a roof, but that's all in context of the house,
Odran, could you tell me about the grants actually that we can get for solar PV?
Absolutely, Fergal. So on average for 12 solar panels, it's in or around €8,000. That means you're eligible for the maximum grant of €2,400. It's also at 0% VAT since the 1st of May, so that has brought the cost down. At current electricity prices, your payback is in between 4 and 5 years, and I suppose the lifetime of the panels is 20 years plus. So after 4 to 5 years, it's all positive. That's for a single measure solar panel installed through Electric Ireland. Cori, would you like to give an overview of how it works with Electric Ireland Superhomes?
Yeah, so that is really important. If you are just looking at solar, Electric Ireland does provide that to you. If you are looking for the solar as part of a larger retrofit, that's completely possible. And what you do is you would come to ourselves as the one-stop shop. We would walk through what is exactly needed to make your house heat pump eligible, as well as how would that solar work with the heat pump. Average grants for a typical detached bungalow is between 20 and 25,000, including that solar grant.
Okay, and if you're getting your solar PVs or you're looking at that, what other measures, i.e. to help from the cost-effective point of view, like a heat pump, a battery, things like that?
Well, no, the battery is the one that intrigues me because I believe to get true value out of the solar, you need the battery.
Yeah, I agree in the overall point of view of panels. Yeah, I agree with that, Hugh. I suppose one of the main things you have to consider when you are considering a battery or installing a battery is, and without repeating myself too much, but it is your flow of life really, because if you are a household that's going to your architectural office or you're going to your work role and you are home at 5 in the evening, there's dinners, there's showers, there's TVs, there's PlayStations, there's whatever's going on. The battery is absolutely something to consider and probably the most important part of your project, because you're now in a place where you're going to be using 5, 6, 7 kilowatts in the next 3 or 4 hours. You've built up the battery power, you drain that power, you're delaying the ESB cable, is probably the best way to put it, and you are getting the biggest benefit. So yeah, I would agree in that scale. And then it depends on the household then, because if you are at home and it's a smaller number of panels, then you may not fill the battery as regularly, so you have to be economical as well. So there's a kind of a scale on that, I would say.
But you can be naughty with the battery, is
Yes.
my understanding.
Yes.
Where you can draw off during the daytime. You can get a cheaper rate and draw off and fill the battery. So when the electricity becomes more expensive, it goes whoosh. See that? See the way it did that? Whoosh!
That's exactly how it works technically.
Isn't it? I just
Yeah,
love it.
that's
I'm on my app.
Yeah.
It's whoosh time.
Yeah, that's
Is that not?
Yeah, that's something that customers do from probably this time of the year, when we have less daylight. Customers will let whatever solar is being generated be used in the house or go into the battery, but also they'll top up or fully charge the battery overnight. So for example, Electric Ireland have a night boost tariff. It's for 2 hours, it's close to a 75% discount on the unit rate, and then they can use that then during the day to
I just think, you see, when you get into the opportunity with Electric Ireland, when you really get into the opportunity of using the one-stop shop, such as Electric Ireland Superhomes, that's where the real benefit is. Because it's the understanding of the matrix of the possibility of maximizing the benefit.
And that's exactly it, is that there's so much mystery around, both getting a renovation of your house as well as what does a retrofit mean, what does your house specifically need, what is the difference between solar PV and solar thermal, and it's our job as the one-stop shop to just give you all of that information as it pertains to you specifically.
But also to teach you.
Yes.
Educate you how to use it.
Yeah.
Because that really is very important.
And what to combine it with. So I mean, say with the heat pump as well, that would really help, wouldn't it? Getting a heat pump with it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, really what helps is making your house that comfortable environment so that a heat pump can work successfully. Doing that insulation, that attic insulation, those new windows. But solar PV is just an amazing asset to have on top of that heat pump.
So you're the first direct contact often with people, aren't they, when they ring into Electric Ireland Superhomes? As in, if they're looking, what is the first question they would ask, or the first misconception that people have?
I think the first misconception that people have is that is their home heat pump ready yet, or what would be required to make their house heat pump ready. The fantastic thing is that there are quite a few technical resources, such as the BER rating of your home, as well as the knowledge that we have from our partners such as NRG and Electric Ireland, who were able to bring that together to have the holistic solution.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, because I think that's one, going off what Hugh mentioned about education and what Cori's mentioning there about the BER. So without diving completely into that, but there is a specific measure that is to push your home towards a heat pump. Very simply, people don't know about it. It's called the HLI. It's called the heat loss indicator. And it's a measure of your attic insulation, your wall insulation, your windows, and air infiltration of a house. Without confusing things too much, that's for me and you to know, and that's for everyone else to make ease and educate the household. But if you know about your HLI, there's a coefficient target. You have to get under it. If you get under it, you're heat pump ready. Yeah. So that sounds easy. There's work in that, but it's educational at least.
Sure, that sounds entertaining, doesn't it? Now, can I just ask a couple of questions, because I can never... So if I get in my solar panels, does that affect my other grants available?
Yeah, and it goes right back to just having that education, that knowledge to know how does it impact your house. Yeah. There is a risk for the one-stop shop grants that if you don't have what we call a 100 kilowatt uplift, that you may not be eligible for those one-stop shop grants. So just to have that information beforehand to make sure you're not knocking yourself out of any of the larger SEAI grants, it's great to come to a one-stop shop such as ourselves and get that background knowledge, to have your BER rating done, to know exactly what needs to be done, including the solar, so that you can take your retrofit. If you don't want to do a larger deep retrofit, you can take it in stages, including doing that solar first. But once again, having that knowledge just to know exactly for your home, for your situation, what's needed is really important.
For solar panels, the BER ratings, they've changed it, haven't they, the government? So it's not an issue.
Yeah, it's all changed.
Right,
yeah, you are. Previously, this year, and you'll know more about this, so I'll leave you take over, is, you had to have a certain BER rating is now released, and it's a post-BER requirement, if you like, just to confirm the works and things.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, a BER is required, a post-works, so post-installation BER is required to get that grant, and that's organised by NRG straight after the installation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I think you made a very good point. So I put in solar panels and I end up with an uplift only requiring 90 kilowatts. Mm-hmm. Then it affects my bigger grants. So people need to have cognizance of that, because sometimes a solar solution seems, instant, but it mightn't be the right solution.
Completely correct. Say you had a home that was a 2008 bungalow and it already had the cavity wall pump, it had insulation in the floor, your windows are already great, they're below that 1.4 U value that we're looking for. You may not need many measures in order to make your house heat pump ready. And you need that 100-point uplift, which may include the heat pump, the solar, maybe some attic insulation to get you there. So you don't want to compromise that. And there are a lot of people, you know, around the country that are in those 2006, 2007, 2008 bungalows that are perfect for upgrades.
Yeah, for sure.
Go for it. No, keep going.
Sorry,
Keep
am I
going.
being difficult?
No, not at all. Keep going.
So can I understand, the reason that I really like solar is if I'm doing up my house and I'm doing my roof, I can put my clips on and I have a wire. Yeah. That's the great thing about solar. There's no moving parts. I don't have pumps. So if I don't have enough money to put on the solar panels, I can provide for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that
no,
fair?
for sure. Especially as you develop, obviously from a retrofit model, it's different because of the level of the house is already built and everything like that. But from a development stage, yeah, absolutely. You can look, all it is conduits. It's conduits down towards, you know, just gaps down towards your fuse board. You can preempt that and you can plan ahead.
And then the great thing then is ideally everyone will have a little plant room. Is that fair? Yeah. You're all going to have a little room with your pipes, what's called manifolds.
Very good.
So you'll have I'm doing well.
Yeah, very good.
So I've got my manifolds, which are my pipes to heat things. I'm going to have what looks like a big fridge, which is all my heat pump and my hot water tank and my sills. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a wire, and I've got a wire with yummy electricity, which I can also put into the system. Isn't that fair?
Yeah, we have quite a few clients who are doing the retrofit as part of a larger renovation. So they're doing significant works. And the budget may not allow for that for those solar panels to be done right at this moment. But that's fantastic because those, exactly as you said, those allowances can be made now so that when they do the solar, they're still eligible for those individual grants as a solar. They can go to Electric Ireland, they can have that coordinated as an individual item, and it's an easy install.
And again, the battery costs me how much?
The battery
you're
ranges.
great with money, aren't you? I tell you now. What?
Battery,
Jesus,
it's how long is a piece of string? Ranges from...
He should be a bookie. You should be a bookie, really. Anyway,
ranges
come on
from
and tell us.
€5,000 upwards.
But what size would you need? A bit bigger than 5, I'm sure.
So 5 kilowatt hour is the smallest we offer at the moment. 10 is roughly about 8.
Yeah, just below it.
Oh, just below 8?
Yeah, just below it.
But the great thing again is I have my wire, and I don't need to buy my battery today. Isn't that correct?
That's true.
I just need a place to put my battery. So in 2 years' time, it's about building.
Yeah.
And then it's about, I think that's what's really exciting. And it's the knowledge from Electric Ireland Superhomes to be able to deliver that and say, okay, we can do this. You don't need the battery today. You can put it in later. And I think that's what's very exciting.
Cost is an issue, you know.
Absolutely. It is.
Yeah,
It
of
is.
course.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
How many people get batteries while they're doing their panels?
It's roughly
Hold on,
1 in
hold
5, I'd say. 1 in 5.
Well done.
How long can you store the electricity in them? You know, could you do it during the summer and keep it for the winter?
So from the battery point of view, I suppose in physical sense of storing the power, it's 24 hours actually.
Okay.
So, but you have to think of that in context of your life. So an example, if Cori's house had 18 panels and she was maximizing 6,000 kilowatts and a 10 kilowatt battery, with respect, Cori's house probably needs the power. So you are draining that power anyway. Do you know? So for it to say that it's only 24 hours, that's in context of Cori draining the power, you know.
It's huge. And the real benefit of the battery is then you can shove it into your car.
Yeah, exactly.
So like there's
smart charging.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. There's all sorts of benefits here.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's a good point, and that's one of the big drivers for a lot of our solar customers at the moment is, I suppose, the growth in electric vehicle sales. Again, if you're working for home, for example, you leave your car plugged in, you're filling up for free.
Yeah.
That's it, like, you know, so you're going from, you know, spending how many thousands of euro a year at the petrol pumps to driving for free. So it's a massive benefit.
Yeah.
I just think the whole thing is so exciting, and I think it's so exciting today because my initial impression of retrofit was it was actually just torture, but well, I'm being totally honest. That was
historically,
5 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think it has come on leaps and bounds, and your professionalism of everybody, of the contractors, of Electric Ireland, of Electric Ireland Superhomes, is really delivering a solution that is complex but is now simple.
We have so many people who come to us and they say, I live in a 1950s semi-detached house. I surely can't ever be ready for a heat pump. And it's great because we get to inform them, actually, getting you ready for that heat pump is not so difficult. You know, the typical retrofit time is 6 to 8 weeks, and it's mostly exterior items that don't have a significant impact on your home. You don't need to move out.
And just, you know, you mentioned there about electric cars. What is, something we haven't mentioned at all is reducing, you know, carbon footprint and fossil fuels. So, you know, and that is obviously a huge part. Is that a huge part of why people are moving to solar PV?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's just a complete no-brainer. Yeah. So we have a client in Oman who's actually developing nanotechnology paint. So you paint, and this is for India and Africa, and you paint the house in this technology and you plug it in, and the whole house becomes a solar panel.
Wow.
So there's amazing advances coming, and that to me is so exciting.
Yeah, and on the carbon footprint point of view, I suppose we are all homeowners, and not that we can't be more sustainable in everything we do, of course we can, but owning your home, going with a Super Homes project, ending up with the upgrades, fabric or install of panels, there is only so much as a homeowner you can do for your carbon footprint yourself. And this is one of the biggest advantages, because you going through a Super Homes project with Electric Ireland allows you to do your bit for your carbon footprint, which is very important.
Savings from the point of view of your electricity bill.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a rough figure?
Yeah, rough again.
Well,
come on, you know.
Come on.
It depends. Look, you can, on average, we would say that you can reduce your consumption by up to 50%. Some homes can reduce it by even more than that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I suppose, say a household that uses 6,000 kilowatts of power. Mm-hmm. I know you asked about an east-west split earlier, but say if it is a south-facing roof, 10 panels of the Electric Ireland system is going to produce on average 3,600 kilowatts of output power a year. So the answer to that is within how you use that power. Theoretically, it's 55% of your saving, but that's not us or anybody saying you're saving 55%. It's that you can generate 55%.
Absolutely.
Then you do your blend of how you use it.
But it'll also affect house prices.
Correct.
It's going to, it hasn't started yet, but it will in the future definitely affect house prices.
For sure.
So if I could just finish off, maybe just one benefit from each of you, personally, why you think people should move over to solar PV.
I think it's a fantastic way to, you know, generate your own power and become a lot more engaged in how you use that power. That will drive savings immediately.
How about yourself, Hugh?
Oh, I think it's about sustainability. It's about reducing my bill. It's about, you know, looking forward to it's about less reliance on things that you can't control. Now you can control at least, you know, 40 or 50% of your running costs, and that's huge.
Cori?
Definitely lower electricity bills, but also having more control and knowledge over your own home and how it operates.
Yeah, I completely agree with Cori. We speak in euros. Sometimes maybe look at the kilowatts, find out what your house uses, and the benefits of that are very, very obvious once you come to Electric Ireland Superhomes and Electric Ireland in general.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think hopefully everybody who is listening in today will have gotten something out of that, but I would recommend people to go to electricirelandsuperhomes.ie website for more information, or to give a call, and I'm sure, Cori, you can talk them through it. So thank you so much, everybody. That was a great talk today.